Hey guys, what it do? It's your boy Supreme with Chia the God. So we're gonna ASMR style type this talk, you know what I'm saying? So I wanna talk about one of my favorite characters, one especially female characters, but just one of my favorite characters in general of all time, and Mikasa Ackerman. This is anime only, so there's no spoilers beyond the anime, and also I don't read the manga, so I'll be spoiling myself. So you know what I'm saying? So let's talk about it. Mikasa Ackerman, when we first introduced to her, she seems like this clingy girl. And the interesting thing about her at the start, before Aaron's parents, well, mother dies, is that she actually defies Aaron quite frequently. And in fact, she has her own voice. She doesn't just silently follow Aaron, right? When Aaron gets into trouble, she beats up Aaron herself. She pushed him against the wall and was annoyed at him because he was getting himself in trouble and he was bringing too much attention. And also, he was disrespecting, police. And when he told her in secret, even though he never said don't tell your parents, when he told her about, yo, I gotta speak the way I speak, man. I can't be doing this soft shit, bro. But basically, oh wait, subscribe. Road to 400, only 7 subs away. Come on, man, subscribe. This video's gonna be lit. Don't worry, subscribe. Gang shit. But yeah, when Mikasa tells Aaron's parents about him wanting to be join the military, the Soviet Corps, it was an interesting thing because she did it in order to prevent him from joining. She was willing and actually acting upon preventing him from being in danger in different ways. Even when he wasn't like in life or death danger, she also didn't want him to be like to do dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? She hated how abrasive he was, right? So it's like it's not just I'm infatuated with you type shit, right? It's I don't want to say brotherly love, but it feels at least at that stage to be more familiar. I think when Aaron begins to grow and becomes more of a leader, I think that's when Mikasa's feelings begin to turn romantic, right? I don't think they're gonna end up together, but I think that's kind of the case. So, I recently watched the anime, all 3 seasons, and I've talked about Levi with Erwin. I've also talked about Erwin solo. I haven't done I've done a Gene. I've done a solo video on Gene because we love Gene, and I just had to do one on Mikasa because I love Mikasa, and who doesn't love Mikasa? You know what I'm saying? So the beautiful thing about her character growth is, again, as a kid, she seemed way more independent of Aaron, even though she followed him around and they did stuff together. Again, they lived together, right? But she was just a good kid. She still had a bit of hope left in her heart. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously, with her backstory being that she's Asian, right? One of the few Asians left in the world because of wars and stuff like that. There's barely any Asians left, and Asians are rare, right? Black people seem to have been wiped out, or they never existed because ain't no one around. So, although sometimes Connie kind of looks black, but anyway, yeah. So because she's rare, the black market opens up. They want, to purchase girls of the Asian descent for sexual desires, and they were looking for them essentially, right? They were looking for them in order to sell them to the black market for the highest bidder because there'll be a hefty price considering that they're Asian, right? And rich people like rare shit like that. They're weird. They got weird kinks. So they're supposed to go on a mission to take the two of them, right? So that they can make more money. The mother, the father gets killed at the door because they thought it was Jaeger, Mr. Jaeger, that was pulling up, but it was not. It was these crazy ass villains. So they pulled up and killed the father immediately. He didn't have a chance to react, fight back, nothing, chopped. Then the mother was like, what told Mikasa run, because she couldn't bear losing her husband right there and then. So she was like, fuck all this, I'm fighting. She was like to Mikasa, run, just escape, get out of here, bro. And Mikasa was too scared. She just saw her dad get his throat slit. You know what I'm saying? And she a child, bro. So she like just there, bro, just like not reacting, not knowing what to feel, not knowing what to do. And she's screaming at her, run, like run, run, run. And she just didn't know what to do. And because of her lack of movement, her doing nothing. And I think this is the key reason why she ends up doing something when Eren says fight, right? So her mother gets killed as a result. And your man is giving out to his other teammate like, yo, what the fuck? We needed both of them. Like, the mother is probably more important than the daughter. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So they lose a big hefty chunk of the money, right? Later on, when Eren Yeager and her father and his father find out about Mikasa being kidnapped and they see the bloody scene, they find Mikasa, and Eren immediately just kills the two people on sight. He ain't give no fuck, and he's only a kid himself too. But he's just like, he's always just been brazen. He's always been a bold child. He's one of those guys that like sees himself as the main protagonist. And this is interesting for when I talk about Eren's character growth as well. He sees himself as the main protagonist. He's like, nah, I can't let injustice fly like this. And he kills them. And because Mikasa sees that, and Eren is like, yo, you good. And Mikasa straight away, her reaction is, there's a third person. There's three. There's one more. And that person attacks Eren and he's trying to choke him out. And he's just like, fight. You gotta fight. You gotta fight. Also kill us both. You gotta fight now. You gotta, And he's pleading with her. And this awakens her Ackerman bloodline powers. Because, again, I don't think every Ackerman unlocks it. I think there needs to be a certain type of trigger that I think fits the individual in order to unlock it, right? And at that moment, it's like a transformation. It's like turning into a Titan, right? That's what happened. Except she can do it without having to injure herself. So her foot breaks through the wooden floor with how much power she holds that knife with, bro. Her foot breaks through the goddamn floor and she runs and just annihilates easily. Like, this is an 8-9-year-old annihilates this man. Like, it's not even close. It's not even a fight. It's just murder, bro. You know what I'm saying? By the time she grows up, people are saying she worth 100 soldiers. Easy. She's worth 100 soldiers by herself. Levi must be worth 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Not play. But yeah, she worth hell soldiers. And that's and that's the beginning of her becoming a dolled out person, right? So then when they live together, that's when she and his parents are still alive. She's adopted, right? And again, the scarf is given to her shortly after that. The same night it's given to her because he's just like, she's cold, it's cold outside, and he just wraps her around with it and just like, keep that shit. And she never takes off the scarf because it reminds her of the hope Eren gave her. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like at that moment when both her parents died, she gave up on living type shit. You know what I'm saying? It was like one of those things. And Eren gave her hope to continue living. And he became the reason why she lived. At least at this initially. I think she came to assimilate and accept his parents almost as her own parents. Like secondary shit. You know what I'm saying? And this is clear because a lot of people don't really talk about it, but there's an attitude shift from when his parents die to after his parents die, right? So before his parents die, she's way more defiant against Eren. She's more aggressive towards Eren. She's more like, Eren, shut the fuck up type shit. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't just follow Eren no matter what kind of crazy shit Eren did. In fact, she'd stop him or beat him up if she had to. And that's the thing about it. and everybody knew her. Like, if you fuck with Aaron, she gonna beat the shit out you, and she, like, all the bullies were afraid of her. She was like the bully of bullies. Like, she was so strong. You know what I'm saying? Like, Aaron went up to random boys, and these boys that were attacking Armin, and he wanted to fight them because they tried to beat up Armin, and I think they did beat up Armin, and he's trying to fight, and they didn't give a fuck. They was gonna jump him and beat his ass. But then the beautiful thing that happens is Mikasa pulls up, and they're like, holy fuck. And he's like, yeah, you better run. Yeah, you better run. And then, RIP, man. Hans pulls up, and he's like, I don't know. You think they're running away from you? I think they might have been running away at that person over there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It could be both of you. It could be one of you. But I think it's Mikasa. Now, the attitude change mainly is that, as soon as his parents die, and and you have to remember, this is what his mother told her, to take care of Eren. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually she tells Eren to leave for the sake of Mikasa and take care of her. You know what I'm saying? But initially she kind of piles a lot of pressure on her to watch out for Eren. And I think that accumulative, that plus the fact of what she went through, losing her parents and stuff like that, and then watching also Eren's mom die right in front of her, I think those are the scenarios that push her to the point where she seems obsessive, right? But I think she's just really, really protective of Eren because of that. Because think about it this way: the child lost her dad and mother on the same night, finally got adopted and is acclimating, and then lost one of the parents there as well, and the other one disappeared, and they didn't know if he was dead, alive, or not. They had no idea, right? Boom. So as a child, you know what I'm saying? So it becomes, Eren is my family. Excuse me. And then at some point over time, Armin also becomes very, very close to Mikasa. And this is highlighted more towards season 3 than season 1 and 2. Because you don't see them together alone often. But in season 3, especially, you see how much Mikasa really cares about Armin and views him. You know what I'm saying? I actually think there's more chance of romantically that happens. But, that's just what I think. Obviously, I'm team Eren Mikasa. You know what I'm saying? But I think it makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Especially if Armin glows up and toughens up a little bit. But I think he likes that he's soft. I think she likes that he's soft and smart. You know what I'm saying? He uses his brain differently. But then obviously we see her going to the training course and being overly defensive and overly aggressive towards everybody. Anybody that went up against Eren, she was wilding. At some point, he had to scream at her like, yo, like, chill, bro. I'm not a fucking child. Like, I'm making my decisions. You can make yours. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's, she gets flustered sometimes because of that. Because she became emotionally unstable. Because of everything that's happened to her. She became completely emotionally unstable and overprotective. Almost like an overbearing parent. And that's the thing about her. And you can't really blame her for that, right? Because if you lose that many people and the last person left for you, you're going to do anything for. And she took that shit to heart. And also because of her Ackerman bloodline, which we know they were supposed to serve the king. So maybe they have this thing where, they're supposed to, like, quote unquote serve somebody. Although she does disobey him pretty frequently. So it's like, it's certain if that's even true or how much of it is true. Because somebody like Levi, especially, he just completely makes up his own mind every time. He just makes his own choices, So it's interesting to see. I just love then I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because season 2 was mainly Historia's story, to be honest, and Ymir. Mikasa wasn't quite the main character. I don't even think Eren was the main character in season 2, to be honest. I think season 3 main character was more Erwin. Also, that's the beauty. That's one thing I love about Attack on Titan. Like, they take time to deal with characters specifically. So Mikasa then, through the Survey Corp, like, she's kind of cool with people, like, but she's really just sticks with Eren and Armin, right? But I think you can kind of tell that, like, she doesn't hold people nearly as close as everybody else holds, but I think she holds certain people closer, right? I think, for example, if Jane was the one that betrayed him, I think that would have hurt her. One of the key reasons I think that is because before, when Jane first tried anything on Aaron, she would trip and almost beat him up, and she couldn't even control it. She didn't even think about it; it just happened, right? But I think she's regaining her stability, and I think one of the main things that helped her regain her stability was when she almost died, when she thought Aaron died, and then she went on a suicide mission with barely any gas and almost died, and then she found herself just reacting and defending herself. She was like, why am I living? Like, why? And then she remembered that mantra of fight. You gotta fight every time. You can't just let yourself die. And then she was like, I'm so foolish. I'm so selfish for letting everybody else die for my own selfish reasons. And this is where we begin to see a big shift in Mikasa. Well, not a big shift, but this is where her shift begins, transitioning towards her being, I think, more understanding of things and situations, right? So she gets out of the run and later realizes that Aaron is the one that saves her. But I say that because despite Aaron dying, one thing I found really amazing was the fact that she still tried to rile everybody up to fight. She still tried to keep everybody's spirits up. She said, "With me in charge, we're going to survive." Even though she knew, like, she has barely any gas and she pushed herself too far and put them in danger because of pushing herself too far. But her doing that just showcased that, like, because she could have just ran off and just started fighting and died, right? But she still felt compelled, so there has to be some kind of bond between her and them, right? That she felt compelled to do that. And I think Jin, again, like I said, I think Jin, one of the reasons I think Jin, if Jin was the betrayer, would have hurt her the most is because at some point when Jin and Aaron started fighting, and Armin was even shocked that Mikasa didn't even blink twice. You know what I'm saying? Didn't try to get defensive, nothing. He was like, he'd be fine. Because I think there was that level of trust. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the thing. There's certain people. I think she gets close to people differently than other people get close to people. You know what I'm saying? I think she values character. She values attitude. She values different types of details than other people do. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things we see is she has a conflict with Levi, because the first time she meets Levi's beating the brakes off of Aaron, literally teeth falling, all that shit, like literally. And she was about to go fight him, like she was gonna get smoked, but she was about to go fight, man. You know what I'm saying? Levi was just like, I'll take care of him myself. I was like, damn, bro. And they know Levi a god, so they just like, I mean, shit, Levi. I mean, there's no one safer. There's no corporation safer than Levi. There's no army force safer than this one man out here by himself. You know what I'm saying? And that's the beauty of it. So, but she's restrained by Armin and the likes. So, like, Armin is like, yo, don't go. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. Armin could also stop her from going crazy. And Armin, when after he saves her, calms her down a lot. And that's the thing. So she values two major people, Aaron and Armin. More so Aaron, of course, but I think Armin is pretty close by. And the fact that she could stop him from attacking Levi when Aaron was getting the brakes beat the fuck out of him by Levi, proves how much he values him and his train of thought. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the beautiful things, again, I saw about her character growth. Another part that I really liked is how she kind of begins to realize that her emotional imbalance isn't helpful. Like, I think she begins to realize that towards the end of season 3 and 2. You know, I think one of the times that it happens is when Levi was fighting, told her not to fight Annie, and she went anyway, and because of that she almost died because she was fighting too emotionally, and Levi had to save her, and in turn got injured. Although, to be fair, the author literally said he did that because there was no reason Levi couldn't just annihilate Annie, and he was he was before before Mikasa pulled up. Like there was no reason that he couldn't absolutely annihilate her. So he had to come up with a reason, and he did get him injured, and then he was injured for a long time. Like most of he was just injured for like most of the season. For most of season 3, he was just injured. And then that those type of little things, I think is beginning to have an effect on her, because when Armin dies and they think Armin is dying, and they have that fight at the rooftop, and she even is about to attack Levi, and Hange stops her, and she almost breaks Hange's arm with her grip. You know what I'm saying? That the fact that she eventually restrains herself and cries because she realizes that humanity has to come first ahead of her feelings. I think even at that moment, if it was Eren, if Armin was the one to stop her, I think he would have stopped. She would have stopped. Because I think again she's having it's a very slow growth, but she's having a gradual growth. She's beginning to trust the people around her more. She's beginning to understand that life is beyond what I see, type thing, right? And that's why she falls and breaks down. Now, obviously, at that moment, because maybe it's her Ackerman blood, and she's not Levi, who just has this insane control, self-restraint and control. I think her initial reaction is just snap and act, right? And if you give her a chance to reason, she usually understands situations. And that's the thing about her. And I think it's that moment really showed that, okay, she's getting it. And even when Levi literally slapped Eren and broke his teeth, like that was beautiful. So that's the thing I'm saying. And obviously, I think one of the key things is her breaking through Eren's self-made wall of fortress of I'm the protagonist. I think when he's on his knees and crying and just giving up, she does what he did to her and gives her hope. You know what I'm saying? She tells her that she just wants them to live. You know what I'm saying? And he looks at her and says that, you know what, for her, I'm willing to do anything. And that was such a beautiful moment, because he unlocked a new Titan power at that moment because of his willingness and want to protect Mikasa. You know? And I think that was a moment that I think is the real moment where I think Mikasa looks when Eren does that. I think that's where the romantic aspect really kicks into gear. I think season 1 and 2, most of it is mainly like, this is towards the end of season 2, end of season 2, but season 1 and 2 early on is mainly just, is it end of season 2 or beginning of season 3? I kind of watched them consecutively, so a lot of the episodes just melded together for me. So forgive me if my time slot is slightly off, but basically, you know, I think it was a moment where it was just like, this person is showcasing not just power or self-realization. He's showing a lot of aspects at that moment. And he also essentially confesses to her. Like, in a way, he essentially confesses to Mikasa that, like, I love you type shit. Now, it's uncertain in what type of way, you can argue. But I think it's a declaration of some type of love. What type of love is up for interpretation. And I think that's the moment that maybe really sinks into her. Now, you can also argue she's been in love forever, but I really felt like most of it is more, this is the last person I have, and I don't want to lose that, you know? So that's Mikasa, man, and that's one of the reasons why she's my favorite character, because she's not simple. She's very complex. It's very easy to miss the final details. I just realized that the camera is completely focused on the mic. Doesn't change anything. But yeah, I just love Mikasa. I know this, I'm sorry that the video ended up being so long, but I just had so much to say. I actually probably have a bit more to say, but I don't want to make the video like 40 minutes long. But yeah, I just gotta say, guys, I appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you guys will subscribe because we're on the road to 400, and we only have a few days left this month in order to reach our goal of 400. You know what I'm saying? We last month we completely smashed it. This month God is on hiatus. There's a few things that happen. I missed 2 days or a day of uploading. So we're a little slower. And my apologies on that. But you know, we can still beat our goal. I'm pretty positive. I had a few videos that flopped as well, as in I just couldn't edit it because the video file got corrupted. So there was just a bunch of stuff that like, you know, went wrong. But we deal with those. We deal with those. I know that the Supreme Gang is strong. Join the Supreme Gang, you know, because we gods. You know what I'm saying? We God. Supreme Uchiha, they're God. And hey, I'm going to love you and leave you. Comment down below your favorite moments of Mikasa, why you love or hate Mikasa down below. And don't forget to leave a like and get into that subscribe button. We out. I just died. What the